Welcome to Workshop Goals. I'm Brad, and today we are attacking the concrete in the shop, trying to address all the leveling in there. That's a whole story, but we also needed to take care of a few things outside, including all that cleanup from the storm, and we had a little bout with Mother Nature. And that's not what you're thinking about either. Just about to go out and start cutting on the trees, and we got some guys caught in the act. The birds are back. One of them was just up here in this corner, and he kind of was hopping around, and he finally got out. But there's another one over here. I can hear him hopping around. Ooh. Oh, there he is. Oh, no way. They're just hopping over all these joists. Get out of here. That's what they're doing. The nest is down on this end, and then they're coming in and out over here because I blocked that nest. Oh, here he comes. There's the other one. Two of them. Look at those. Freaking Houdinis. Okay, that was three of them. They came out of there, and I'm realizing now what they're doing is that I believe they've gone all the way down there and they've gotten in. There's another little nook over there that they've gotten into. I've got to get this stuff blocked up. But you see, this netting is obviously not doing anything. All right, I got the old borescope out here. I'm gonna see how bad it is. And hopefully they've not nested or definitely not laid any eggs. Let's go back there. Okay, oh gosh. There is absolutely a nest back here. You dirty rats. Golly. Let's see here, I don't see any eggs, and definitely no hatchlings. All right, confirmed no eggs. Listen guys, these are starlings. If you're a bird lover, I'm sorry. These things are not protected. These things are nuisances, and I'm ripping this thing out, and we're gonna block this thing up like crazy. But thankfully, we caught it before they laid, because if there were eggs in there, I wouldn't touch them, but there's not. So they're gone. So in an interesting turn of events, last episode, we talked about Margot and Todd from Christmas Vacation, and everybody let me know that they had a Bang & Olufsen, not a Bose stereo. Thank you very much for that. But we're gonna just stay on the Christmas Vacation theme, because as I was digging out the bird's nest, I heard a little thump. I thought it was a bird landing on top. I didn't think anything of it. Then I grabbed a handful of nesting. I thought the nesting looked a little weird. And the next thing I know, freaking squirrel comes flying out and dives down and runs away. All I could see was like Christmas Vacation, squirrel coming out, jumping in my face. I don't know how I didn't get bit or attacked or scraped, but I didn't, thankfully. Apparently that was a squirrel's nest. And so actually we got the squirrels out and we studied up on it, and apparently the mom's gonna come back and grab them. So we got all the nesting, made these little guys a bed, and we propped it up somewhere safe out of the sun, and we're just gonna go away and let the mama come back. And apparently she will come back and grab these babies and take them off, and they'll all live happily ever after. And I don't have rabies, so that's a plus. Now the mama squirrel did not come back during the day, so I went ahead and set up a trail cam to see if we could catch her coming back. And shortly after we left, this is what we found on the trail cam. It was so cool. Cleanup from the ice storm is at hand. We got a nice little break in the weather. I got the John Deere out here, so we're gonna try to load everything up and just trying to get this stuff out of the front yard, because basically every arborist and tree guy that comes by keeps stopping and asking me if I need his help, and I don't, because we're gonna do it ourselves. But we've got some huge branches we need to take away, and I'm just gonna try to drag them around back, and we'll probably have to chainsaw some stuff up. Let's just get to it. All right, interesting day today. If some of you remember, we talked about how our concrete floor was a little bit out of level. When I say a little bit, it was a lot. It's like 3/4 of an inch. Actually, if you look down below the sheet here, you can see exactly how much out it is. Thankfully today, we talked to the builder. They're gonna come out, and actually the concrete guy is gonna come out, grind it down, and re-level it. And it was to the point where it was so bad that when I was standing over there, it felt weird. So I definitely wanted to take care of it. So we're prepping for that right now. Moved everything out of here, and now I gotta take the plywood that we put up down. All right, so I'm just taking these out basically so they don't get all jacked up while they're grinding down the concrete, and also so we can see on the bottom, because it was so tight down there at the ends. I think we'll probably end up having to trim off a little bit by the time that we kind of build the concrete back up. So hopefully this should just be a very, very temporary thing. We'll go ahead and take these out as well. I think where they're gonna resurface is actually just in the first kind of 10 to 20 feet of the shop. It's set too fast on the little pour that kind of ended here, and then the one that came in afterwards, they didn't get a good bond. And so then when they were floating it, it didn't flow together. And that's why we have all the ribs and ripples. And they didn't catch it. All right, so I thought it would be helpful just to kind of lay out what happened during this whole process and some of the timing. So this was a Friday when they came over, and they're gonna be putting down some self-leveling concrete to basically just shore up all those spots that were a little low on the floor. So the first thing they did was they came in and they basically ground down or just roughed up the surface. And that was to make sure that we could get good contact with the new self-leveler. And then after they did that, they put down a primer. It just kind of looks like a seal coat, but it's just a thin liquid primer that just helps, make that concrete ready for the additional patch. So after they got that, then they could mix up what the self-leveler was, which is basically just a thin slurry, and then they could pour that down and just kind of screed it around. And it obviously is a self-leveler, so it just kind of flows out, but they did have to work it around into the different areas. But we started having a few issues, and that was with the mix. And when they did the mix, it didn't come out exactly right, and there was some dry spots in it, like when you're making pancakes and you see some flour in the batter, kind of like that. So then they did another mix, and unfortunately they went on the other side, and that second mix was quite a bit more watery. And when they put that down, I was not feeling great about how it all turned out. Now, all of this was in the left side bay, and then they did the same thing on the right side bay, but they ran out of material because it took way more filler than they thought it was gonna be. So we went ahead and called it quits on that Friday, and they're gonna come back the following week. Now, this stuff's supposed to dry in like 3 hours, but by the end of the day, it was still not dry, and I came back on Saturday, and there was still wet spots in the concrete. So I knew that we were gonna have problems. So when I came back in on Monday, sure enough, the concrete looked horrible. There was the dry spots where they had kind of the speckles, but also there was the parts that had the water that you could still even see a little shimmer on it. And there were even some spots where it had just kind of like crackled up. And I don't know what that was all about, but obviously because the mix wasn't great. So they came back on Friday to fix those spots and then do the main pour in the main section of the shop. Now this pretty much went the same with the prep and then the priming, and then they could pour in the self-leveler. And as they started mixing it up, I thought they had gotten it right, but again, we started seeing some of those issues. And I'm not totally sure what the problem was, whether it was with the product or the way that they were mixing it. It seemed like some of this was a little different than from when they had worked with it the last time. But in the end, they still had some problems mixing it, and it was a bit too liquidy. And at the end of the day, we laid it all down, and quite honestly, I was pretty concerned about how it was gonna turn out. But at that point, there's really nothing we could do. So all we could do is wait and come back on Monday and see how it turned out. The cleanup effort continues. That honestly is one of the things about owning property that you don't think about a lot of times, a lot of people don't think about, is just having to deal with stuff like this. So we cleaned up everything in the front yard and the side yard, but now we've got this whole hill up here, and we want to go ahead and get rid of this so that, it's not going to be 80 degrees and we're out here cutting this stuff up, even though it is really sunny and warm right now. There's not a lot of great wood here, unfortunately. We're just going to have to be burning most of this. But what I am thinking is that we might be able to take some of this wood and put it into a cool, like a little firewood rack. So I'm thinking about maybe building that for the main channel, like a little shed, one of those little jobbies, maybe 6 foot wide, and somewhere to stack your firewood outside. So maybe that's what we'll be able to use it for. But really, just gonna get after it and keep cutting this stuff up and just get as much cleared as we can. All right, we're getting completely worn out here. That hill is a beast, and I think we made, I don't know, 17 million trips up and down it. Coming down's not bad. It's going back up is the hard part. But we are just, I think we're about halfway, and there is just, my gosh, I don't know. There's a lot. I actually have to be traveling next couple days, and cameraman Adam is gonna have the chore of burning all this. So he's gonna bring some marshmallows, maybe make some s'mores, we'll campfire, pull the guitar out, try to burn through the rest of this. But we did get a cool little fire pit out of it, so that's kind of fun. And yeah, we still have some trees to go up there. So gotta be honest, I kind of enjoy it. Hard work never hurt nobody. All right, we are at the next week. Last Friday, they poured the concrete, and now it's time to check out how everything turned out. Let's just take a look. All right, so this is the left side bay. This was the one they did it first. It was a little wet after they did it, and then they re-poured. And so you can kind of see the area here, and there's a few things going on. Obviously, you can see how it's nice and, when I say nice, it's like brown and light there. Now over here, this is kind of my expectation of what it should look like, this kind of matte dark gray. And again, I really would love to hear in the comments as I'm going through there, if you have experience using self-leveling compound, especially if you're in the concrete world, whatever, of like how much of this is normal, what should I expect? One of the things I've learned, I think, is that for self-leveler, I think it's best when it's in like a contained zone. When you're in just a room and you're not gonna have any feathered edges, because feathering the edges with a cement product is very hard. I get that. The problem is though, is over here. This obviously does not look like it turned out well. This was the part that had way too much water. And so I think this like light coloration is what happens when there was too much water. We've got some holes here from where actually the spikes from the concrete spikes actually stuck in here. So again, it doesn't look great, and this probably needs some reworks at this point, but let me show you in the center. All right, so here in the center, you could just see just from the coloration, this whole entire area here is that kind of tan, it's not gray. It's really bad over there. It is really bad pretty much everywhere. And then also you can kind of see some of this, where kind of the flour in the batter type thing going on where it probably wasn't quite mixed. And it almost looks, I mean, you can see it in here, it's just all crackled up. And that's where it was just way too much water, because the same thing happened over there. Actually, there's a spot over here where it's really bad. You know, it looks like the Sahara Desert. Like when you see where it's like water, I mean, look at this, it's just all, like, clearly this is not right. I get it. And the guys, so the nice thing is that the guys have been great. They're trying to work with me on it. They've been having problems with the product, and they're gonna make it right. They're gonna help make it right. But I'm just also trying to decide, like, should we be doing something else? So that's like one of the things that I would love to hear from you guys is, like, the way I look at it, you know, we have some different options of basically like getting this back down and trying to coat it again and make it better, or am I just kind of on a fool's errand? Should we maybe like epoxy coat it? That's the other thing I'm thinking about is, like, I'm not gonna get it to match. And so maybe we just kind of level up the entire floor and get like a nice professional epoxy coating, not like the, you know, not like the stuff you get at Home Depot, but like an actual one with maybe some flake and stuff so that we can, you know, spill oils and things on it and clean it up easy. But that's gonna be a huge extra cost and everything, but it would be a really nice floor. So I'm just trying to balance out, honestly, what to do. It is what it is at this point. It definitely needs to be reworked. And it's just a journey, man. We even tried, actually, at the end, we tried putting some sealer on the other side. Let me show you how that turned out, because I thought maybe some sealer might fix things, but let me show you. All right, so we're on the right side bay, and they did put some, so as they kind of polished it, I think part of the problem is what I'm realizing now is I think they went way too heavy on the polisher, like you know, this you can see just all the grain, what am I trying to say? The sanding lines, like the grit lines, just like when you're sanding wood, right? Like they need to come back and get something way more fine and bring it up through the levels. But what we tried to do is put some sealer on it to see what it would look like, to see if it would bring it back to something more like the regular concrete. And it just, it soaked in to the stuff that has very porous and just didn't do anything, and then sat on the top in the other spots, just kind of a mess. And you know, I don't think that's the answer either. So definitely a lot of work to do. So honestly, guys, I am very disappointed. I kind of feel like I wish I hadn't have done anything to try to repair this. And on top of this, we've just been having a lot of issues with the HVAC. And one of the things I'm trying to do is just, like, I'm not trying to have a pity party. I'm not trying to look to be like, oh, woe is me. Like, this is what happens when you're building a building. Like, you just run into issues, and as soon as you get done with one, there's another one creeping up. It's just what happens. And so we're just trying to take it day by day, figure it all out. And there's nothing that I want to do more than to just be sheathing these walls and putting my woodworking tools in here. We're just not there yet. We're not there yet, and we're dealing with all this stuff. So I appreciate you guys being along the ride with me, and we will get there though. All this can be fixed, and we are gonna get there. So until next time, guys, set a goal, get it done.